I think it was junior year. They started filming that Denzel Washington, Chris Pine movie around State College, Unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
And they were looking for, production assistants, anybody to just sort of help out with the set. And I was working at Bank of America at the time out in State College, just trying to make ends meet. And I sent in for that and I got the call and I ended up working on that. And I basically skipped all my classes. But it was and it's crazy too, because the way the film program at Penn State was set up was your entire first 2 years, you ain't even doing shit with the film industry. You're not doing nothing with the film program. There was one introductory class that I took as a sophomore to get into the film industry, the film program. And then it starts junior year. So now I'm really in it. And I'm I'm hitting them with the, the Vanish Nile theme. They were getting mad at me. I would roll back in on a day that I was off or whatever. And I'd be okay, what I miss? And they'd be why are you here? Do you even want this? And I'm do I even want this? I was just on set with Denzel and Tony Scott and actually making a movie. That's what I'm here for to begin with. So why are you giving me shade for actually going and doing what I'm asking you to teach me how to do? And I'm actually learning more over there. So that was a big step in the origin, because the people that I met on that are people that I legitimately still work with to this day on different movies and different TV shows. Cause if it wasn't for them, I would have never worked on Batman. I would have never worked on Spider-Man or Captain America or any of these other things that I ended up doing. And it really clues back to that. So, it's been a wild ride.
Don't get coronavirus in your heart.
What's Dewey?
It's the base.
LOSO__G.
Deacon, the engineer.
And I'm Randy Troy.
What do you do, Randy? Who are you?
State your business, brother.
He's being modest, man. He's actor, he's director, he's all around Renaissance man, this and that. He's directed movies and shit like that, music videos that your boy Hugo's been in. He has credits on features films, just as Spider-Man and other things like that.
Yo, IMDb, check that shit out. Randy Troy, hashtag legend.
This man's IMDb is popping.
No, that shit is out of control because there's just mad outrageous shit on it.
That shit is outrageous.
And that's the show, folks.
And that's the show. See you guys next week.
And that's it.
You
appreciate you guys for having me. Let me know whenever you need me. I'll come by.
This has been presented to you by Alkaline Water.
Yep.
I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Randy. I think you your boo's pregnant, right? I think you dished out a little clever video a little while back, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that is, hot off the presses as of just, very recently that your boy is going to have a boy.
Your boy's going to have a boy?
Congratulations, man. Yo, I saw that and for a quick second, I thought it was a Nintendo Super Smash Brothers video. But I noticed that you weren't using the Nintendo controller, so I was wait, what the heck is going on here?
He's using Xbox. I was yo, this man's from the future.
Exactly. I'm over here in 2030, man, when Nintendo's got some girth to it now.
He's over there messing with the PS60.
Nah, but honestly, how that video all came about was my boy, our boy, Darren Donofrio. He's getting into the camera game, and he was hey, why don't you let me shoot some photos for you, announcement photos? And since his camera also had like some really nice video attached to it as well, he just started shooting some stuff, and it really just happened on the fly. So realistically, like all it ever was meant to be was a picture of us holding the Xbox controllers. And the reason I chose the Xbox controllers was because I have a blue one. So I was also announcing that like it's a boy. So I had that. And then when he put it into the editing and all that, he did the Super Smash stuff. So it didn't really, you know, mesh with what controllers we were having, but I still like the video. It still came out nice. It was, you know, a lot of fun. And that was mostly, you know, for Chrissy, you know, my fiance and all that. 'Cause I'm a gamer, but like, you know, she's more of a gamer than I am. She's into that whole Nintendo thing. And, you know, so like she's got the Switch in the other room. She's probably playing it right now.
That's dope, man. Like that didn't look like an accidental video. Like that shit definitely didn't look like an accident. I'm like, yo, they fucking planned this shit out. They had a storyboard, all that shit. Like,
Nah, I've worked with this guy since 2010. You know, like a full decade, and he doesn't do anything that's not planned. He doesn't do anything that's not like deliberate. He's very Bruce Wayne-esque, like myself. Like, so he like everything matters. There's no wasted movement. There's no wasted motion.
Look, if I could go back in time, though, I would put Switch controllers in our hand, though.
Big facts. Big facts.
So, Randy, what's like your origin story? Like, how'd you find your path into this field and stuff like that? Like, what led you to wanting to be an actor, director, and just, you know, working on other projects you've had before?
So, you know, it was a cold night. I was, you know, walking down the alleyway with my mom, you know, and this guy came out. He was trying to mug us. Sorry, I'm getting my life confused with Batman. But nah, man. Look, I since I was a kid, I was always fascinated with movies, TV shows, and all that. Like, TV was my babysitter. All of that, you know. Had the VHS, I'd take the tape out, I put it in the rewinder, put it back in. I just watch, you know, Terminator over and over and over again. And, you know,
a man of culture.
You know it.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, you know, I had these neighbors downstairs that, you know, they were actors. They worked in TV, and, you know, they did a lot of commercials, a lot of theater, the Silverbergs. And like my mom, she's done some acting, like she's done some extra work. She's done some things. Like, funny enough, she's like 10th billing in the movie Blue Valentine with Ryan Gosling, but they like cut her out of the movie. But she never even like really tried to be in that movie. So it's kind of like this weird thing where, you know, I came from a family that was just like in the bar business. You know, you just come up from, you know, I'm from Manhattan, you know, Inwood, New York. And, you know, everything that I learned about really like the industry and all of that, like I test that to like the neighbors, and that kind of like gave me a little sense of focus. So the first thing that I ever did was my neighbors sent in a picture of their kids and a picture of me to be in a movie. And they didn't pick their kids, they picked me. and it was like kind of a funny gag, and, you know, it ended up becoming like a running joke. But that was my first movie, Autumn in New York. It was in the late 90s with Richard Gere and Winona Ryder. And you know, I had never touched a movie set at that point. The most like interaction that I had with a camera was whenever my mom was like videotaping us. So it was an interesting experience, and it kind of just sort of led me down this path to where I continued acting for a long time. And then by the time I got to college and everything, you know, eventually meeting my boy Hugo over here, I was like starting to do my own thing, because I had this experience when I was about 17, I want to say, where I got cast as the lead in a movie. And it was like a crazy experience. They were shooting on film. Things still hadn't even gone digital yet. And I spent an entire summer shooting this movie that was like, it was called Massive Online Wars. And it was going to have this really like, it was going to have a whole extra CGI element to it. It was kind of like, what was that movie that just came out that Spielberg, Ready Player One.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was kind of like,
Okay.
it was kind of like Ready Player One, but you know, we're talking like 13 years ago or longer.
So
Yeah.
they stole your idea pretty much. They stole that idea.
Oh, no. This is someone else's like thing. I was just acting.
Oh,
in this
okay.
movie. So I don't know because Ready Player One is actually a book. So they may have actually like taken that from that. But essentially it was like this kid moves to a new town. The whole school is playing this video game and then it jumps into the video game. And like, I was supposed to come back like a year later and do all of this voiceover work. But as I was filming this for an entire summer, mind you, I was watching everything happen. I was just kind of like, you know what? I think I can do all of this. Like this stuff doesn't even look hard to me. So, and that movie never came out. Like I contacted the director. I was like, hey, you know, like what's going on? You know, I'd love to put this stuff in my reel. I'd like to do this. I'd like to do that. You know, when are we doing the voiceover stuff? And like, I heard a bunch of horror stories. I don't even know what was true. I heard that like the whole movie somehow like, because film, you can't put in the sun or anything or like have it get heat. So I heard that whole movie just like somehow was put in front of a window and like just an entire like X amount of dollars and time and all of this just went out the window.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, man. So that kind of that experience really sort of soured me in the acting game a little bit.
Yeah.
So when I went to college, instead of like focusing on acting, I actually went for film and film production. So I could learn the other side of it and, you know, basically be able to give my input. And I was already kind of like making my own things in high school. But
Like Banquet?
yeah, like Banquet.
Can we talk about Banquet?
I am talking about Banquet. I forgot I told you.
You showed me Banquet.
I definitely didn't show you the whole 2.5 hours.
No. You just showed me some clips, and I was like, "Wow!" Started from the bottom. Now we're here for sure.
Oh yeah, this definitely started from the bottom stuff right there. Like, I used to have the trailer on YouTube way back in the day. Like, it is nowhere to be found now. That is in the. That's in the clutches of my hard drive. Like you need to be initiated to see that.
Oh man, those are that's his lost tapes for our viewers.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Big facts. You know, that whole thing was basically like, you know, I had a bunch of creative friends in high school, and I actually went to high school in Pennsylvania, not in New York. My mom wanted to get a change of scenery and all of that. And, you know, I met some cool people out there, but for the most part, I really hated that experience because it was just like a small town. I came from New York, and then, you know, the people there were just like incredibly closed-minded and all this other stuff. And I really was not with that. And I could go on tangents of my own on just that.
Oh, you could go off. It's the base. You can say whatever you want. Well, we can edit it if anything.
Yeah. So you growing up in the tri-state area, did you watch a lot of WB11 movies?
I mean,
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. You watch a lot of TV
Terminator.
Because you mentioned RoboCop, I was like, "Yo, this guy."
Star Wars.
Yeah, hear no evil, see no evil.
not only did I watch those movies, my mom was recording them on the VHS tape so that I could watch them again later.
Oh, Johnny Five.
Because they
exactly.
would edit all the sex scenes out and stuff.
Yeah, you're right. They would do that.
So really, all of the VHS tapes that I had were like the WB11 versions.
Every Rocky.
Yeah.
So WB11 literally moans molded like what my flavor in like movies, because it's like I had no choice but to watch that. So like when I think of my childhood in movies, I think of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think of mad random art. I think of Hook, RoboCop, like just all those WB11, Demolition Man, son, all that.
Oh, Demolition Man.
Demolition Man. Hell yeah.
You ever go back? You ever go back to some of those movies afterwards and then, but like watch the real version and be like, hold up, I don't even remember this scene.
When I got HBO, I want to say in grade school, toward the end of grade school, before middle school, and I started watching like WB movies unedited on HBO. I was like, holy shit, this is a different movie. Altogether.
The biggest difference I've seen is RoboCop, like the WB11 RoboCop and the actual RoboCop.
The actual RoboCop?
Fuck. Oh my god!
That shit was
when you see that man get eviscerated at the beginning.
Man.
Oh my god!
17, yo.
The guy like, I remember that scene, bro. Oh my god!
Yeah, RoboCop was ahead of its time, man, for sure.
Yeah, he shot the guy in the dick, bro.
Big facts. He shows up to the board meeting and just like airs it out. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, you left off. You said you went to high school in PA and you really weren't messing with it. What's next?
Yeah. Well, I know you guys tackle all types of subjects and all that, man. So I'll get into one example of what living in like the town in PA that I was in was like, just for some context. So I'm like, when I was like 16, I worked at this mom and pop Chuck E. Cheese place. It was almost like Chuck E. Cheese meets Discovery Zone, but like if you found it in the $5 bin at Walmart. So, they had bumper cars. They had some like other Discovery Zone type, like Jungle Gym thing and all this. But anyway, my manager was this like 23-year-old girl that had never like been anywhere. She had just been in that town. Like she bragged about it too. Like, oh yeah, I've never been to New York. I've never been here. I've never done that. I never went on a school trip. Meanwhile, she had like all these kids and all this other stuff. So,
bro, I had the exact image of the person of like, oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm working with her, right? And now, mind you, like I grew up in New York. I went from being in a school where like, my family is mostly Puerto Rican Irish, but it's like I went from being like the only white boy in any like classroom or anything to begin with to a school where it was like 99.9% white. And the level of prejudice and everything that like I saw these people give towards anybody that wasn't white blew my mind because I never saw it in New York. And I'm working at this place, right? And this black family walks in. And this was like when like Bluetooth started popping, like for the beginning of Bluetooth. Like this man walked in, he had the Bluetooth headset. He,
oh, the Aqua headset.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The barbershop
probably had the phone on a clip on his belt.
Oh yeah.
It was still a status symbol, so you knew this man was eating, right? So he comes in, he's got his two kids and his wife. This girl, the manager, hides behind the desk. I'm like, what the hell is this? So I go up to her and I already like I peeped the whole situation. So I go up to her and I'm like, yo, dude, is this like unrated, this show or whatever? You like no, I'm
say whatever you want, bro. Say whatever you want, bro. No, we don't give a fuck.
I go up. All right, cool. So I go up to her and I say, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, are you serious?" And I didn't even know the register yet. So I go in and I like figure it out there. I get them going on the bumper cars and all this other stuff. And eventually the owner comes, right, and pulls me aside into like the mini golf area and is like, "Randy, I need to talk to you." And the owner says, "So I talked with the manager and she said that you cursed at her." And I'm like, so did she leave the part where she's a racist and hid behind the desk because she thought like the place was getting robbed by some dude in a Bluetooth and like his kids with him? And so, and this woman says, you can't curse at your manager.
I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what.
And I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, no, it was definitely some like real King of the Hill shit. So that was the area, man. I fucking hated it.
Clearly.
Like I have so many stories like that just like are burnt in my head. Like, wow. And then like there are other parts of America that are just God damn it. So anyway,
Growing up in New York, though, it's just like a spoiled experience, though, like culturally.
exactly.
Especially you know, like that. It's just like I love New York too for like a little while. I lived in Florida, and then I lived in PA while we went to school, and I did an internship in Arkansas. And it's just like it took some adjustment for me to like live anywhere
Arkansas
outside
had
of
to
New
be
York.
wild.
Yo, the people there were real nice, but I stayed in my little cluster. So I only moved from one place to the other. There was once we couldn't get a taxi when we left the bar, and we walked. And yo, one of the managers saw us, and the next day called me in, and I was like, "Yo, bro, you lucky nobody like did anything to y'all, because it was just me and a bunch of other black kids, literally just walking in the middle, like walking down the highway, and shit, just trying to get to a place because we couldn't get a taxi, son." And I was just like, "Oh, okay."
It's two different Americas, man. Two different Americas. Like being on tour with the Wizards this past year, like experienced the same thing. I'm talking coast to coast, from Jersey all the way to California, and south of the Mason-Dixon line, all that good stuff. Places that I wouldn't even imagine of going Kentucky and Arkansas and Mississippi and Alabama and like no street lights.
Yeah.
It's a different America. That's just all there is to it.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, what's up?
No, go ahead, bro. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, so I found a couple of people that like were from cities that ended up moving there just like me. And, you know, we started making some things, and, you know, we rarely ever had scripts, you know. We just kind of got together and did whatever and just made it as it went along. And that's partially why like Banquet is exactly what it is. But, you know, most of the time we were taking like cartoons and like animes and things like that, and just sitting with a microphone and like redubbing it and putting it on YouTube, you know, with like teenage humor.
We're going to have like a clip from Banquet to open the podcast.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Humble beginnings.
Humble beginnings. For sure. It's like Breakfast Club, but early 2000s.
Yeah. So I don't know. When I was at Penn State, you know, my whole thing was just, you know, I was hungry to meet like-minded people that, you know, really wanted to like get shit done. And I tackled every project that came my way as best as possible to essentially say, like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right. If I'm going to put my name on it, I want to be proud of it. So that's how I handled most things. Eventually, like, I think it was junior year, they started filming that Denzel Washington, Chris Pine movie around State College, Unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
And they were looking for, you know, production assistants, anybody to just sort of help out with the set. And I was working at Bank of America at the time out in State College, just trying to make ends meet. And I sent in for that, and I got the call, and I ended up working on that. And I basically like skipped all my classes. But it was like, and it's crazy too, because the way the film program at Penn State was set up was like your entire first 2 years, you ain't even doing shit with the film industry. You're not doing nothing with the film program. There was like one introductory class that I took as a sophomore to get into the film industry, the film program. And then it starts junior year. So now I'm like really in it, and I'm like I'm hitting them with the, you know, the Vanish Nile meme, like like and they were like getting mad at me. Like I would roll back in like on a day that I was off or like whatever, and I'd be like, okay, like what I miss, and they'd be like, why are you here? Like, do you even want this? And I'm like, do I even want this? I was just on set with like Denzel and Tony Scott and like actually making a movie. Like that's what I'm here for to begin with. So why are you giving me shade for actually going and doing what I'm asking you to teach me how to do? And I'm actually learning more over there. So that was like a big step in the origin, because the people that I met on that are people that like I legitimately still work with to this day on different movies and different TV shows. Cause, you know, like if it wasn't for them, I would have never worked on Batman. I would have never worked on Spider-Man or Captain America or like any of these other things that like I ended up doing. And it really clues back to that. So, you know, I mean, like it's been a wild ride. Like I can't, like, you know, I've definitely had my share of fun. I've had my share of why am I doing this? I've worked on things that are, you know, just not really hitting any sort of boxes for me. I've worked on stuff like Terminator Genesis that hit every box for me because I love Terminator. And like I was like, you know, a couple of feet away from Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that's the only time I ever got like starstruck in my life.
That's dope.
And yeah, but I mean, like all of that stuff, like that's cool and it sounds cool to other people, but like very few of those things mean something to me because I didn't really have any sort of control or say in a lot of situations. You know, like the department I was working in was the assistant directing department, which is very logistic based. It's like it's coordination, scheduling, working with extras, like managing the set. Anything that doesn't fall into another category is like essentially like falls into the department that I was working in. And that can be grating on a creative person, you know, because you want to be creative, you want to do this, you want to do that, but you know, you're watching these other people do it. Now, luckily, you know, just last year I got into the Writers Guild of America. So now I'm a union screenwriter and I have a little bit of creativity to explore now. So, you know, like the things I've been working on lately is just writing scripts, telling
your own stuff, your own scripts, my own work. Stuff. Yeah.
And, you know, and it's cool because, you know, I haven't explored much of that since my thesis in college, which was regression.
That's the first video that comes up on your YouTube, bro. That's dope. It's dope. My father to cut you off. I was waiting for you to get to this.
DK's fanboying out. I love it.
Nah, it's cool, bro. Like honestly, I respect anybody that's just kind of like doing their thing, especially, you know, from the creative end of things. Like I just like, I don't like the idea, you know, I at least like me going through work and going through like, I guess different type of jobs. Like I see that the people above me doing it don't really have anything that I don't have, you know, that I feel like the more I learn about the workplace, the more I realize that like I'm more than capable of like doing it now, in my opinion. And, you know, I don't want, you know, just like making, I like people that don't have that mentality that a lot of other people have in regards to just like, you know, stopping themselves from putting themselves out there, from, you know, from just trying at the very least.
Look, at the end of the day, anybody that didn't make it, it's because they stopped trying.
Yeah.
So
big facts.
And it's not an easy industry at all. You know, the one that I'm in. And the second that you stop aiming for anything that you're trying to reach, that's when you fall. So You know, it's either you keep climbing, or you settle into something else. It's like I can't number the amount of people that I saw like after college that were in the film program and all that like kind of crashed and burned. And honestly, like I know these people and I feel sorry for them. And, I hope that they're doing well now and that they got back onto their feet. But, it's like some people can't handle L's. They start working at, doing retail jobs and all that. And they get caught into that 9-to-5 grind. And I have some empathy for it, but like I legitimately like drove around the country living in my car to make sure that I could work on a lot of this stuff, because that's the only way that I saw it happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was no way that I was going to be paying rent in a certain particular area. And then suddenly someone says, hey, like, oh, you're in New York, but we're filming in Ohio, or we're filming in New Orleans. Like, are you coming? And then I'm like, all right, now I'm going to go pay double rent. Like, no, for like a few years, like I was like showering in gas stations and YMCAs and like all this other stuff just to make it happen. Mm-hmm. Like to have that stuff that's on my resume. And it's like, if you don't have that drive and you're not going for it that hard, then you're not going to get it unless you actually have like the juice already.
Yeah.
Like unless like there's some sort of nepotism that's happening. Like I didn't have someone in the industry to like put their arm around me and be like, I got you, like, just come over here, come out to LA. And I'm going to make shit happen for you. Like that didn't make any sense for me. Like I was not going to LA after college because that's like saying I want to be the president. So I'm going to go straight to DC. Like, no, like you don't do that. Like you want to be the president, like you go to like some small town in, Illinois or like Iowa or something, and you come up, in that area, and then you branch out, and then they invite you over, and that's how the film industry works. Like you need to go to wherever like stuff is happening, make it there, and then they will pull you to other places. So when everything was said and done with college, I went out to Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh was actually filming a lot of stuff at the time. That was that they were filming Dark Knight Rises, Jack Reacher, so many movies. Like I have to sit here and think about it, but like going out there ended up, starting this sort of like almost seemingly never-ending spiral for about 10 years, where I was just like constantly working on movies.
You made it through the Chitlin circuit.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot on here.
You made it through.
What was so cool too about Mars's story that he hasn't touched on, it's a slight deviation. When he met me, first of all, you guys want to hear when the day I met this guy, because it's actually a funny story. It's actually it's a 2-part story. Like
2 parts, as in there's his side and my side.
Exactly. We the first time that I actually like met and like chopped it up with him was at Showtime at the Apollo at Penn State.
Wait, Showtime at the Apollo at Penn State.
At Penn State. Yeah, like I'm interested to hear his side of it. Like you said, it's 2-part. But this is like Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, like three or four accounts in the New Testament. So like this is my account. I showed up there with my boy H, my boy Black. We just showed up there and they wanted me to perform in it because I was the U. I was MC such and such on campus. Like this is what I did. I rapped. Everybody knew that. This was common knowledge. And I didn't want to perform at it because my issue with Showtime at the Apollo at Penn State, you got to say the whole thing like a Tribe Called Quest, was that they kind of treated it like Showtime at the Apollo in Harlem. People just came to boo people.
Right.
They could care less if you were good or not. The only time you got cheers is if you like were performing and you brought your people with you to specifically cheer for you. Because you could have been out there, you could have been Celine Dion. They want to come boo people because that's just the thing to do on a Friday night at Penn State.
This sounds like let me guess, they booed?
No, I didn't perform because I knew what it was. I was just like, I'm just gonna come here. I'm just gonna watch. If it's hot, I'm definitely gonna cheer. If it's not so hot, I'm not gonna boo because it takes balls to go out there. Me myself, I'm a performer, so I understand what it takes to put yourself out there. You know, make yourself vulnerable in the public for people that you don't know. So I was just there to just observe. So I was there for probably I saw 3 or 4 or 5 acts, and then we were gonna bounce. We weren't gonna stay there for the we were gonna stay for the whole thing. So toward the 3rd or 4th act comes on, and I see my boy come out. I see Randy come out. I didn't know what he was gonna do. I didn't know if he was gonna do comedy. I didn't know if he was gonna do juggling. I didn't know if he was gonna do rap, sing. I didn't know what he was gonna do. I just see him come out. He's got 2 background dancers with him. So it looks like he's about to rap or do some type of performance. And I'm hyped. I'm like, okay, let me see what the white boy can do. Okay. Let's see what the white boy can do. He's like 10, not even 10 seconds into his routine. His music comes on. Background dancers are doing their thing. They're coordinated. He's got a blue outfit, blue shades. His background dancers have blue outfits too. They got a whole thing set up. And I'm just like, yo, this dude really put some time into this. Not even 10 seconds in, they boo him off the stage.
Wow. That's crazy.
And I'm up there, I'm looking around, I'm just like, yo, can he start? Can he get into his really? So
that's what happens when you get a bunch of college kids together. That's
wow.
Remember, they booed off Lauryn Hill. They booed off Lauryn Hill.
They booed off Luther Vandross. They booed off a lot of cats. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I dapped him up at the end. I went to him at the end. Before you come in, Mars, let me finish it up. I waited to the end because I definitely wanted to talk to him. I definitely wanted to dap him up and let him know. So the program finishes. Before I left with my guys, I specifically sifted through the crowd and went right to him. And I'm just like, yo, man, it's all good, yo. Don't sweat that shit, man. This is why I don't perform at this. I didn't know him. I didn't know him from a can of paint. I didn't even know his name. They announced They announced his name as Randy. So I was like, yo, it's all good, bro. It's all. Don't even sweat it. So, but that was my first time, being in the presence of dude, and it's still funny to this day. But I'm interested to hear his take on it.
So. The reason that I did that in the first place was I used to do stuff like that at Penn State Skook. And I used to get a ton of love out there, because that was that experience of starting at that smaller campus for my first year was almost a fraternity.
Facts. As someone who did it as well at Penn State.
All of us did.
All of us did branch campus.
GA.
So.
Yeah, so I started at Skook. So, and to put yourself out there was respected.
Facts.
Everybody showed love.
Facts.
Our talent shows and all that stuff were crazy.
Facts. Same.
Yeah.
These guys remember Stand Up with Ugo.
Yeah. So it really
COA.
And so I used to get mad love out there, and it was basically if you really put yourself out there, you were embraced, that was how you got popular. That's how you ended up at the parties. That's how you got to know people and all this other stuff. So when I got to main campus, the Showtime at the Apollo was basically the first thing that they were throwing out. I was just like, all right, well, I've been doing this over here, so I'm just going to bring this over here and start, making some new friends, because everybody else is still at Skook because I came here early now. So I got to start over. Yeah. It didn't work out that way.
You should have waited a year until your boys and your homegirls came over. You'd have had a whole yeah.
Army,
oh
bro. Yeah. I would have had 800 people rocking for me.
Facts.
But that is what it is. But the time that I actually remember meeting Ugo was I was in Ronnie Barrage's
hip hop class. Yeah, facts.
And Ugo was a guest that was brought to the class to do a freestyle.
Yeah, facts. This is before I actually got into the class. I was still working on the logistics behind the scenes because I couldn't fit it in my schedule. So Ronnie was like, listen, before you come into the class, why don't you come and guest speak? And then hopefully you know what I mean, everything will work out with your schedule and then you can be in the class. So yeah, I remember that.
And now at this point, like I'm a senior, I'm working on regression, but I've established this like rapport among the campus that like I'm the film guy. So I was getting hit up by every single like rapper, singer, wannabe rapper, like freestylers, like whatever. And they wanted music videos. But the thing is like, if I'm going to put my time into somebody, like you have to be good. And most of the time they just
trash.
Exactly. A lot of,
trash.
Look, 95% of the time it was trash. So now when Ugo came into that class, that was the first time I saw someone that was like, oh, I can actually work with this person and I like the music. I was like, oh, and he's talking about stuff that I can relate to and all of this. Like, this is cool. This is cool. So I went up to him after the class and after he did all of that and like exchanged info because I wanted to hear more of his stuff. And like, if there was someone that I was actually going to work with, and if I was going to devote any time into like doing music videos for any sort of an artist, like I needed to feel comfortable with their work ethic and their product. So that's how this all started.
Yeah. Cause I'm hot.
That,
Cause I'm hot. It's like,
damn. I mean that's cool because that's like a really organic way of like meeting someone because it's rare that you just meet. It's like you guys have like adjacent, not the same interests, but maybe you do a little bit more now, but like adjacent interests that just kind of like collided at like the perfect time. Like that's pretty rare. Cause like, you know, most time you meet people at parties or like you went to class with them or some shit or you're in the same club, but like just having those things like meet at intersection. That's like interesting.
oh yeah, I remember him showing me a documentary that he did. Like, it was interesting and perfect because at the time I was looking for cats to shoot a music video for me. Like I was going through a number of cats that, you know what I mean, that I'd heard through the grapevine. Yeah, I shoot videos. So I'm just like, all right, you gonna do it for free? Because like I'm working at McDonald's at the time. I ain't got much bread to give you. So none of that. I ended up working with one guy, Justin Molish. Shout out to him. You know, I think he works like for Marvel now or something. He shot a video for me. But it was a one-time thing. I knew it was a one-time thing because he was, you know, working on a billion other things. So I was looking for a guy that I could work with moving forward. And so I remember after that, after we chopped it up that time, after Ronnie's class, he was like, yo, man, let's meet up. I want to show you some of the things I got because I sent him some of my music and he really vibed with it. So he puts on a documentary, like a full like on some VH1 behind the music shit, like a full documentary. So I'm just like, yo, this is fire, bro. Like who did this? Like, is this one of your boys? He's like, yo, I did this. I did all this. I edited it. She's like, I shot it. I edited it. I did the sound. Like I did the interviews. Like he's like, this whole thing 100% was mine. And I'm just like, damn. I think we could work together. That's what I said. I was like, I think we got a future.
Yeah, that documentary, I still like that one, man. That was for Chenjerai. That was a Chenjerai documentary.
Because a mutual friend of ours who's a instructor, he was in a rap group called the Spooks. And they sold they got a gold plaque, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, they had a gold plaque. They had Lawrence Fishburne in their music video, like straight off the Matrix. Lawrence Fishburne.
Facts.
Like he co-signed them hard. They were huge in Philly. They were doing European tours, all of that. But unfortunately, eventually the group broke up, and I'm not going to get into all the specifics of why. But that's it. Chenjerai he's a very interesting dude.
Yeah.
Follow him on Twitter, catch a tweet down. He's like really into, all of the political zeitgeist right now.
Yeah. Facts. He's very woke. He's very woke.
Yeah. Oh, super woke, man. Woke. And I really enjoyed every conversation that I had with that guy. And, he doing that interview actually, there was something that he said that still sticks with me, and I repeat it as well, but I really got it from him, is that, his approach to music was that he said, you need to make something that's going to last and change, something that's going to be respected and, looked at, essentially, I'm paraphrasing now, but, years from now, you want to be able to look at that, still be proud of it, and still have it have, some sort of impact on people. That's the same way I will look at anything that I'm doing in film.
Yeah, big facts. I mean, we've shot a number of videos together, 5950, which DK loves to death, and I still love to death too.
Yeah, I was looking at the videos the other day. That's when I was like, yo, this video is dope. I was like, yo, hit up Randy Troy, son.
No problem. Absolutely.
That's probably my favorite one that we did, to be honest.
It's mine. It's definitely mine.
I mean, for the love of it is a better shot video. We got
definitely more money.
There was more money involved and all of that. But 5950 was just a fun, let's just get everybody together, start partying. And then, I love all the stuff I did with the hat too.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we shot.
It's iconic.
We shot an unofficial version of 5950 that's almost at 10,000 views. That's still my most. It's my that and the official video as well. Those are my two favorite pieces of work that me and him have done together. We shot Young Legend out in Dominican Republic, which is amazing.
Hey,
we had an amazing time shooting it. Trust me. Big fact. Shout out to
shout outs to Big Poppy.
Shout out to Big Poppy. Shout out to Dave Ortiz, Manny Machado, A-Rod.
Brought to you by Brugal.
Exactly. Brought to you by Presidente, Fernando Tatis Jr., all that. So we shot Inception in my house. We shot Nothingness on Route 22, which is unreleased, which I think that we should release that at some point. I know you still have the footage of it. That's a dope unreleased one we didn't put out yet, but we should at some point. We've got so much works that we've done together, and absolutely we're gonna do more together because we're BFFs, we're Thunder Buddies.
Yeah. Oh man,
that's dope. So we know you have some other interests that you also are really into, and you also create content for outside of your mainline work of writing, directing, acting, production. What else are you into?
You talking about the One Piece videos that I've been doing now?
Son, that's how I can tell you're an anime fan, bro. So for anybody that likes One Piece, bro.
Wait, hold on. He likes One Piece?
He is the resident anime god.
Wait, what? You like One Piece? I don't know what gave it away.
I'm calling a spade a spade.
So that's a hardcore anime, bro. You're a real anime watcher. Respect to you for that.
What he is to anime is what I am to Marvel and DC. Hence the posters in the background. But
his videos, when you watch a video and you've never seen a fucking show, but you watch someone talk about the fucking video. He makes videos like that. Yes. I'll watch his videos and never watch One Piece. I'm like, oh shit, that was deep, bro. Fuck.
Yes. That's just what he does.
Legit.
Yeah. Well, all right. So there's a whole origin story to me in One Piece, to be honest. Like most of us, I came up as a kid watching Dragon Ball Z and all this other shit. And I was a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. I was a kid. I used to go on forums and talk to people about shit and all this other stuff. But
you used to go Super Saiyan in the shower.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah! 8-year-old me, man. You want to roll up on 8-year-old me? I'm going. I'm sitting trying to convince my mom to dye my hair blonde so I can. But what used to make me so mad about Dragon Ball Z for real is that
Frieza Saga.
Is that my favorite characters high key were Yamcha, Tien, Krillin.
Agreed, bro. Not to
Like-
cut you off, but Dragon Ball Z did so much disservice to their character because they are all dope ass characters. And the thing is, like, in my opinion, like, I wasn't huge into anime, but like Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball are like two of the ones that I really watch. And I'm like, Dragon Ball is so much better because they fleshed out their characters. Like, even as a kid, I understood, like, this is a good story. Like, there's humor, there's fighting, there's character development, and Dragon Ball Z kind of had that until the Frieza saga, sort of, kind of. And then, I don't know, the shit got corny to me after that. But like,
exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like, I like low key, I do like the Android saga, but only because of Trunks and like the time travel shit.
Facts.
But the thing is that they did my favorite characters so dirty in that show that like I just kind of fell out of it because I was like, I'm never seeing the characters I like. You're putting way too much focus on the Saiyans now. Like, I really don't even give a shit about the Saiyans. Like,
yeah,
like these, like, bro. So anyway, eventually I found One Piece, right? And I found One Piece probably when I was like, I don't know, maybe 11 or 12. And, you know, so we're talking like 18 to 20 years ago. Like, I got into One Piece. It was still like super early into it. I ended up actually like helping start one of the first fan sites for One Piece.
Oh, wow.
And worked for the fan subs. This was before a dub even came out. Like, eventually in like 2003 or 4 or whatever, 4Kids came out with the One Piece dub that showed up on Saturday morning cartoons. And like, you want to talk about like what what, you know, Channel 11 did to RoboCop, like that's NC-17 compared to what, you know, Saturday morning cartoons did to One Piece, bro. Like, that is like the most egregious thing. Like, if there's like a Watch Mojo of like the worst things that were ever brought to America and changed, like, this shit is going to be number one.
Oh, big facts.
Like, there's a reason why people like look at One Piece a certain way in America, and it is because of that. And One Piece is dope as shit. So I was like on board with it even before that. I was working for the fan subs like in high school, like, you know, just like it's a hobby. Like, these people would send me the video and all of that, and they'd be putting the subtitles in there. And I was like, you know, watching the episodes before anybody would get them. And I would be giving, you know, like ideas. It was almost like the first writing job that I ever had, because here I was like sort of writing the script for, I didn't really know Japanese at the time. Like, I'm like okay with it now, but I was like sort of learning at this point, but it was mostly just taking people that already translated it from Japanese into English and then making it actually sound like real English and like real people speaking. So I was like, I had some sort of influence into the way characters talked a little bit, and that was kind of cool. So I kept up with that for a really long time. And, you know, I've been reading it weekly because it's still ongoing for, you know, since then. And it's just like, you know, my three favorite things in, you know, as far as media are concerned are One Piece, Terminator, and Batman. And so I got back into it recently because I never stopped liking One Piece, but like my love for it sort of got reinvigorated when I met my fiance, because we did a whole rewatch because she was interested in it. So we watched the whole series again. And over the years, I've always gotten people that are like, hey, you know, I want to watch One Piece, but like, that shit's long, bro. Like, I don't have time for that. So I got tired of answering that question, because there's like a fan group that has taken, you guys know what Dragon Ball Z Kai is, where like they sort of remade it, but made it so that everything so that it doesn't take 30 episodes for the like.
It was on Toonami and Adult Swim for a while.
Yeah. So basically, these people took One Piece and made One Piece Kai essentially, but they called it One Pace. So I decided one day to, instead of like trying to explain it to people so much, I just made a video. I made a video of like, this is how you operate One Pace, and this is how, you can watch this series that is 900 episodes, but actually only have to watch like 400 because they've cut it together for you. And it's still the entire story. It's not like they're like cutting shit out like, oh, I'm going to take this out because you don't really need it. No, they're only taking out filler that doesn't have anything to do with the story that's actually in like the actual comic. So that video like blew up. Like it's you know, it's sitting at like almost 100K on my YouTube right now. And I get a lot of comments and things where people are like, wow, I'm so glad that like you got me into this series and like this is awesome. And that kind of stuff is like, I don't know, man. I mean, it makes me feel good, but doing these One Piece videos is just like a hobby for me. Like I just kind of decided one day to just be like, you know, I don't have a hobby.
He doesn't bird watch.
Yeah, no, it's like I'm the type of guy that like went out and like made my job my hobby, and like I kind of sat down one day and I realized like that's kind of boring. You know, like I'm focusing on my job like 24/7. Like, what's something that means something to me? And I was like, oh, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna sit here and talk about One Piece. So I started doing that, and I mean, in the past like 2 weeks, I went from like 500 subscribers to nearly 4,000.
Damn.
Yeah, like people are like actually interested in me talking about this shit, and that's dope. So
facts, big facts.
But you know, I like legitimately believe that it is like the greatest piece of literature and like cartoon TV show that's ever been out. So like it's easy for me to talk about it.
My man made a bold statement.
I said what I said.
I said what I said. When you actually get watching it, you might understand what I'm talking about. It takes a little bit. It takes a little bit for it to click because they're setting a lot of pieces up at the very start of it.
Yeah.
But when it clicks, and it never stops hitting.
That's dope, man. That's dope. I mean, I think it's funny that you said like, oh, I don't have a hobby because, you know, just describing your work life, like a lot of that sounds like you're into so many things. It's like any one of these things could be a hobby for another person, but this is like your livelihood. You know what I mean? Like you're building yourself, you're building your brand, you're building your skills, things like that. But it's crazy that even your hobby is like adjacent to like what you're building and is like a part of your portfolio. So it's like, I don't know. It's just interesting for me to see because it's like, yeah, it's a hobby, but yeah, this is like a part of your work. Like this is also a part of your legacy as well, you know?
Yeah. Look, man, I never went into doing YouTube or like talking about One Piece or anything like that from the perspective of like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to make money and I'm going to, you know, like whatever. Like, yeah, it's all right. You know, every Friday or Saturday, I'm just going to record myself talking and I'm just going to put it on YouTube.
Yeah, man, that's fucking dope, bro.
Hell yeah.
So,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Oh, I mean, it's one of the main reasons why we vibed for so many years. Like everybody that is in my close circle that I'm cool with, that I consider like day ones or whatever, like they do stuff and they do it on a high level. And it's not so much to brag and be like, hey, look at me. They're humble about it. They're down to earth about it. And they're spectacular at it. And they do it at the highest level effortlessly because it's natural. You know, you can tell when it's forced. You could tell when someone says that, yeah, I make music, I rap, I sing. And you can tell when someone's like, yeah, I write, I film, I make movies. Like, and then you'll see their work and you'll be like, well, okay, all right. And then you see the other side of the fence, and you see people that are just naturally gifted at it and just understand how to make it great, how to make it like undeniable. And it's just a beautiful thing. You want to surround yourself with as many of those people as possible. And when they're dope people and they're not shitty and they're not like trash, like that's a bonus.
Yo, man,
such
that's
a
dope.
bonus.
That's dope. Just excuse me one moment. I'll be right back. Just one moment.
DK, you still there? Is he?
Yeah, my fault. I had myself muted. So what's next, bro? Like you did your regression thing, you're doing your work, you're doing this One Piece.
You cutting in and out.
Views. Like what stuff do you got? Like,
Oh, we didn't hear you there, man. You gotta say that again. Like you kind of breaking up.
Yeah, you sound like you're driving through a tunnel, bro.
Yeah.
oh, my fault. Nah, I was just asking, what's next for Mars, as Ugo was calling you.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, like you mentioned regression. I mean, that was like that was 10 years ago. But still proud of that. And the next thing for me really is to get some of these scripts that I've been writing off the ground. Hopefully, inspire people with my own creative works in the way that I've been inspired by creative works. I mean, that's the only reason that I'm doing any of this stuff, is that someone inspired me to do it. Multiple people, multiple products, multiple, pieces of media inspired me to make media. And I just want to do that for other people. And it's kind of funny that like I get comments from people that are, filling that sort of void in my life with this sort of One Piece stuff, which is kind of crazy to me. But I still have higher goals, than that. The One Piece stuff is a lot of fun. I enjoy it. I'm glad that, I have a fiance that holds me down to the point where she doesn't mind me like doing stuff like that, or like, embracing a cartoon as much as I do. But, that's what it is. I got a project called Binary that is a pilot that's ready to go. So I'm hoping to shop that out and get that into the process. And if that can get made and turned into a TV show, we could really talk about some like real issues in America through the lens of, a sci-fi story, like most sci-fis really get off.
Yeah,
I love sci-fi because of that.
And plus, DK, me and Mars have been co-writing some scripts as well. We the first one we did is a drama called Half-Hearted, which is we're still working to fix out on that, but it's really, really interesting. Just think Ozark with sports agents. So we worked on that for really the last few months. We put a lot of time into it, and we got a lot of good stuff written down on that. So that's a working piece, and we're also working on a comedy called #Education. Like that's something that we have discussed for a number of years, and then we're finally got the final draft 11, and we're hashing away some ideas that we can hopefully bring to Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime or whoever, and get a big fat check in the future. That's the goal. So getting in that writing bag, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Yo, do you still do stand-up comedy or any stand-up at all?
I haven't done stand-up in a little bit. I was pretty heavy into that for a while. I was doing shows at Gotham downtown, but it's kind of hard to keep doing that when you peak. I was like doing a show, right, and it was an amateur night, and out of nowhere, like Seinfeld showed up, like just
shit.
These people, like, they do that, like, like you go to a club and like it'll be an amateur night, or so and so will be up, but then like out of nowhere, like Dave Chappelle will just walk onto the screen, onto the stage, or Chris Rock, or, you know, this one or that one, you know, like seeing a famous comedian just show up out of nowhere just to test some material on an audience for free is not uncommon. But basically Seinfeld showed up to this open mic, and then I had to go on like 2 people after that. So I had to, so I was like, so I just want to, you know, thank my opening act, Jerry Seinfeld.
Get off the stage.
That's funny.
So at that moment I peaked, you know, and it was just like,
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that story too? Oh my God. The same thing happened to me like my senior year at Penn State. You know, because I was doing stand-up comedy as the guys know from my GA days. And so I was in the African Student Association, and we did this thing called Touch of Africa every year. It was just this big party, this big banquet style party. And 1 year, 2 years in a row, we decided to do it at the Bryce Jordan Center because it gotten so big, you know, so many, because there's a lot of Africans in Pennsylvania. There's a lot of Africans at Penn State. There's just a lot. So they come and they got food and dance and, you know, performances and this, that, and third. So I did it 1 year and I killed. But then I didn't feel like doing it again because like it's a lot of work to host anything, especially with like 500 plus people. So I was just like, yeah, I don't really want to do that again. I had a great time. I killed with jokes and this, that, and third. But I was like, and plus they didn't pay me, so I was like, I don't want to do it again. So the second time I was just in the crowd and it was terrible. The host they got was not funny. He was trash, and people were coming up to me like, "Yo, Ugo, like, why aren't you out there? You have to host this next year. This was a disaster. We need you. And matter of fact, we'll pay you too." So I'm like, well, I wasn't going to do it, but you're going to pay me. So I'll do it for sure.
Okay.
Sure. Okay. Now we're talking. So they were just like, oh yeah, we decided we wanted to make it even bigger. Would you be cool if we brought Michael Blackson to host it with you? I'm like, Michael Blackson? Like Murasaka? That guy?
Damn.
I was like, hell yeah. Like for sure, like absolutely, like have him there, and trust me, I'm really not even gonna do comedy. I'm kind of just gonna stand in the back and just ad lib while he's just doing his thing. So fast forward to my senior year, Michael Blackson's they advertised at this, then, and third, and we had our biggest turnout. And Michael Blackson, he does like his whole routine, kills it. And goes backstage. And I was just like, yo, man, that was funny. They were just like, all right, Ugo, go on now. And I'm like, what?
Damn.
So I go out there because my job was just to introduce the next act. So I was just like, hi, hey, I'm not going to say anything funny because he just performed and now performing. I was just like,
I want to thank my opening act, Michael Blackson.
And so I was just like, once I saw like a professional do it at the highest level, I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna stick to music because I was into music at this point anyway. I wasn't even doing stand up anymore at that point anyway. So that was my real retirement from comedy. I was like, yeah, like I can't do what that guy does anymore. I'm just gonna stick to rapping.
Yo, stand up. My bad. What were you saying?
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say stand-up comedy, just by looking at it and just knowing what I know, that has to be one of the hardest things a performer could do.
Facts.
Like
It
you're
is.
on a fucking, it's like there's so many people watching you, but you're on a fucking island, bro.
Facts.
It's
It's the hardest. It is the hardest version of professional performance, in my opinion, that there is. You know, I put it right up there with obviously professional sports. I put it right up there with theater. I put it right up there with any form of acting, and right up there with music as well. I think it's way harder than music. Like music is not as hard. It's not as hard as comedy, especially if they know your songs. If they know your songs, it's just a sing along. Really? Like, they know your songs. You're just there to just, you know what I mean? It's just a sing along versus comedy. No, make me laugh. I don't know you. But make me laugh.
And here's the thing, it's harder to make people laugh. It's weird, but it's like, it's harder to make people laugh when they know you're trying to make them laugh. You know what I'm saying? It's like a funny person, like you could have someone who's funny no matter where they go, put them in any situation, they're always fucking funny. But you put them on stage, Nah, bro.
Yeah. No,
that kind of
Different.
stuff happens.
facts.
I got into doing stand up in the first place because one of my earliest goals, even when I was a kid, was that I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live, and I like taught myself a ton of impressions to like prepare myself for that day. But the thing with getting onto Saturday Night Live is obviously it's tough, and the main like avenue toward it is to like go like right now, like if I wanted to like really go at that, I would have to join the Upright Citizens Brigade, pay them, X amount of money to like take their classes and do all of this, and then expect someone to show up and like, pick me up from that and put me on Saturday Night Live. But any of the new people that get on Saturday Night Live, that's what it is. They take classes at the Upright Citizen Brigade. Eventually they get scouted and they get brought on. The thing with that is I was working on so many movies and so many TV shows that I didn't have the free time during the week or the flexibility in, just my financial life to be able to like give 100% to that. So, not that it's completely out of the question at some point in my life, but I just kind of like switched priorities a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a part of life, but I think one thing, particularly the thing that everyone here to an extent, I was gonna say just Randy, but I think everyone here to an extent kind of embraces the idea of doing. And it's like, it seems like a really simple thing, but I know people who are way smarter than me, who are probably way more talented, grew up in way better situations than I did, but they're not really doing anything because they feel paralyzed. They're like, what do I do? And it's like the first step to success is just doing something. Like, it doesn't even particularly matter what you're doing. It's like, just get immersed into something, and then you'll find out if you're good at it, if you're not. If it's something that you like, if something you don't like, it always leads to something else. So,
Yeah. Case in point, like I just decided to just throw a video of me talking about an anime, and now I've got 4,000 subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested. Have you ever, you're into acting, you write, and you're into anime. Have you ever thought about voice acting?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I know. I have. I definitely have.
Absolutely. I that's another thing that I would love to do. But the thing about voice acting in itself is that, especially with anime, is that a lot of that stuff is done in Texas. Weirdly enough, and
That's
it's like,
wild.
Texas? What? That's how did that happen?
That's wild.
I don't know.
I'll tell you what, that's weird.
That's so That's
But
so
it's like,
random.
Yeah. I'm not even joking. Like the Funimation Studios, the guys that did all of the Dragon Ball Z stuff, all of the One Piece stuff, like all that, like that stuff is recorded in Texas.
Wow, that's real interesting.
And also,
the more you know.
the more you know. Yeah, really, for real. And it is a typically non-union sort of thing. So basically, like if you're in the Screen Actors Guild or anything like that, you're going to have a tougher time doing anime and all this other stuff. And the people that are doing these voices for these animes are not getting paid a lot of money. Like the person who voiced Goku and Vegeta and all of that, like maybe, I'm sure they can make a living and all of that. But, some of the people, like if they're not consecutively getting a lot of gigs or anything like that, they've probably got another job. And that's just some sort of side thing that they're doing because they live in Texas and have a microphone.
Or they're doing multiple roles. Because I know that's the case. Like with Phil Lamar, who like does.
The thing about that, like I would love to put a voice into like one of the DC animated things and all that. Phil Lamar is a special case because that dude is definitely in SAG because he also acts like as a person, So, and a lot of those DC shows, they'll get people like, Morena Baccarin or what is it? They had Rosario Dawson playing Wonder Woman and things like that. Like they'll shell the extra bucks to get like someone that's legit to do the voices. And in those cases, like that works. Like Warner Brothers will shell out a little bit more, and that'll happen in LA. So if you want to get into superhero stuff, like it's a lot of it is proximity based. Like that stuff just isn't happening in New York.
That is so interesting. I wonder what the fucking origin was behind Texas. Is it like Dallas, Texas, Austin? Like,
is it like the Metroplex?
I think it's Austin. I don't know. Look,
that's interesting.
I'm about to Google this.
That's
right
crazy.
Now.
So you're telling me when Uncle Phil was Shredder, he was in fucking Austin eating barbecue? Like that's just
that's nuts.
So it's near Dallas, in Flower Mound, Texas, is the Funimation Studios in particular. But something like Shredder and all that probably happened in LA. I'm just when I say Texas, I'm like strictly speaking like anime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I was thinking like Trolls, like DreamWorks.
Yeah.
Out in Texas.
Oh no, that's all LA. No, but anime,
right.
Texas. Everything else, LA. New York.
Wow. Like Texas is the South is the last place I'd associate anime with. I thought it was probably some fucking small studio in New York or something like that.
No, you said
That's
New York was
interesting.
You said New York was commercials. So commercials
so
in New York.
If you want to hear the person that's like, saying go buy a Wendy's burger and all that at the end of the Wendy's commercial, like that's in New York. That's what's happening in New York. It's all that just the person voicing the like Cialis. Like, that's New York.
Cialis commercials.
Cialis,
Or the old man picking out the fruit in every fucking diabetes commercial.
You could do some shit like Dragon Ball Z Abridged. That shit would be fucking hilarious.
Yo, you can
know
do
what I'm talking about?
So fun fact, right? Like I I'm not really one to brag or get into anything like that, but like I legitimately have to say that I was like the first person to do some shit like that. Period. Point blank. Period.
What, like honest trailers?
No, like Dragon Ball Abridged. Like you're talking about the guy that like takes his voice and like dubs over it.
That makes it more mad hilarious.
Right. So, bro, like I used to do that with Dragon Ball Z. Like I was the first person to do that. Okay, I had 200,000 views on a video in like 2005, 2006, where it was basically Dragon Ball Abridged, and my whole channel got taken down because
of copyrights.
Because of the copyrights. Yeah.
Oh fuck.
It's terrible.
So, and I was doing like One Piece content back then in high school and all this other stuff where I was dubbing onto that as well. And it was like Dragon Ball Abridged. It was like, it was funny. It was teenage humor. It was stupid. It was like insanely sexual and all this other shit. But, I was like 14.
That's hilarious.
Insanely sexual. Like, yeah, Goku, suck my dick. Like,
Sometimes.
That's hilarious.
Those ones never made it onto YouTube. That was for internal watching only.
That's too funny.
But it's funny. Like I had one where it was like I had Goku acting all high, and then he walks. So the scene was this was in Dragon Ball, right? So he's still a kid. He's at the Korin Tower, and he just like unlocked his power, and he's like feeling all crazy, and then he walks to the edge and sort of like looks out into the sky, right? So I dubbed it to where he just took some, like some fucking drugs, and he's just like super high, but like Korin and Yajirobe and all this, like they're talking to each other, and they're just like, yeah, I mean, like I don't know why he's acting like that because it's just Arm and Hammer. But then I had Goku walk up to the end, and I put like a little like zipper sound effect, and he's like pissing off the off the tower. Like I was doing stupid stuff like that. But the biggest video that I had back in the day was called Roshi the Pervert. And
He was a pervert. Dear
yeah,
God.
but this one was like super sexual. It was about like him trying to have sex with Goku and Chi-Chi when they were kids.
Oh wow!
And the turtle.
Wow.
And the turtle. I did all the voices myself, like 13-year-old. And it was so, like, it was so popular that like when I would go into my YouTube and I would look at like where it was being linked, because back in the day you could see where someone was like sharing your video. You can't do that anymore. I would go and I had people that were posting it and saying, "Hey, look what I did."
Swagger jacking.
Yeah.
That's
And I'm
terrible.
just like, and I was like going on these forums like, "You ain't me."
Swagger jack.
Like,
You
what?
ain't me. I'm me.
And then he's like, "Why are you saying, I'm the one that did this?" I'm like, "Bro, like that's my name. Like it's got my name on it."
Dude, it was probably just another high schooler himself, like in freaking Montana or some shit, like trying to get some clout in high school. Come on, bro. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So I mean, it was funny, and I was doing that with One Piece also. And then like eventually other people started doing it more. And I just had to I couldn't help but feel a little salty because they took my channel down. And I was like, I'm really your dad. Like you are all my sons, right?
You're all my sons on some Drake shit. This guy, he was Drake before Drake, easily.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah. I also did it with Batman the Animated Series. I had one called Batman's Not Gay.
Yo, they needed a bridge version of that. Holy shit.
No, man, like that was one of my favorites I ever did, right? And it was like, because it was just like Batman swoops into this other DA's office or something, and this guy just like keeps giving him like these looks, and eventually like puts his hand on like Batman's shoulder, and Batman just kind of like looks at him like, and he just sort of like takes it away. So I just made this guy like not like overtly flamboyant or anything, but like really insinuating that like he wanted some action with Batman, and like the funniest thing is that Batman barely speaks in it. So it's really just all on the performance of this other guy. And
That's funny.
So the best part is just when like the dude actually touches him and Batman like says nothing, but just goes like just pulls away.
I mean, he was a grown ass man riding around the streets at night with the underage boy, but Batman's still the GOAT. He's still the GOAT. He's still the GOAT.
Yeah.
I think we can wrap here. Like unless we got anything else, DK. We've been going for like an hour plus. Is DK, you still there?
Oh, the feds got him.
Yeah, I'm here. Y'all can hear me?
Now we can. Were you like in an ICE detention center? Like, what's going on? Like,
Yeah. That was crazy. I don't know. I guess we're pretty good on time. I just wanted to see if there was maybe any last words, any last things you want to say, Mars, to any aspiring mini yous, to the people who keep swagger jacking all your creative content out there and making channels based off that shit.
yeah, take us on home, man.
Yeah, and plug your shit. If you have websites, if you have YouTube, plug your
Son,
shit. Bro.
I guarantee you my cousins are going to watch your anime shit well before they watch a full episode of any of these things, bro. Like that's just the crazy thing about it though. Like I know my cousins are going to watch your shit, that's for sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, my fault. You could go on.
That's funny. I mean, anybody that's trying to do anything that I'm doing is that they just have to do it no matter what, and the main thing is that you can't be in it because you want to make money, because you're going to be too focused on the wrong thing. You got to be in it because you actually like love it and you feel like you have something to say, you have that you can fill a market and a void that's in the world. So, that's where I come from anything, yeah. If people, I'm not like turning my YouTube channel into just a one piece thing, because I mean, it's still me. It's still like, I'm not like Childish Gambinoing it either. Like, I don't have my channel as like some other name or anything. Like, it's just Randy Troy. Like, I'm me all day, every day. Like, I'm really out here like Iron Man. Like like if that's the mask on a fight com or some shit, like people know that it's me. Like, I'm not hiding anything. But one thing that I am thinking about doing is like putting some of my scripts up on YouTube, and making that sort of an avenue for different things. I was thinking, I have this Terminator spec script that I wrote that I like I went out to LA. I was trying to sell it, and I low key think I'm the person who gave the producers of that the idea to bring back Linda Hamilton, because I sent it. Because I had the emails for all of the people when I worked on Terminator Genesis, and I was like, I know you're looking for the next Terminator, and I have the idea. And I probably said too much in the email and like counted myself out of some money, but whatever. So I have this Terminator script, and I'm thinking about, maybe even like getting some people together to like voice some of the roles, see if I can get someone to sort of animate some things. And then like, it can kind of be like this, hour and a half experience where you're like seeing the script and hearing the things and like seeing some action and all of that. And, maybe that's a way to sort of put myself a little more on the map on the writing side, if it, sort of like get some attention. And then even do that with my more, individual creations like Binary, which I was talking about. That's a story that takes place in the future where you have this woman that works for population enforcement in an America that has been ravaged by wars on our soil, and now there is a work draft. So she is like trapped in this job where she, as a woman, has to capture women that are illegally pregnant and take away their child. And then when she becomes illegally pregnant, she decides to go on the run like these other people that she's been capturing. And, there's a lot more to it than that, but, then she's being chased by her coworkers, but that's a whole series, involved there that, will get into how corrupt the government is and like a resistance, within America to kind of like go up against the government, which is like stuff that's very timely and what we're dealing with now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's why, I'm going for that. But that's that. My name's Randy Troy. Anybody wants to Google me can. Mm-hmm. I'm on all social media platforms by my name. I got an IMDb, I got randytroy.com, I got Conviction Studios, which is my production company. And that's that. I don't, it's hard for me to talk
That's perfect,
about,
bro.
It's all good. You only did it for an hour.